Generic products are required to be therapeutically equivalent to the reference formulations. Generic formulations provides cost effectiveness to the patient population, and that is the main reason for the generic product development. Generic products doesn't require complete clinical and preclinical studies. That's why the cost of generic products are lower compared to the innovator formulations. There are some key considerations for the generic product development, and these key considerations are based onto the regulatory front, onto the demonstration of therapeutic equivalent, therapeutic and pharmaceutical equivalence, bioequivalence, stability, and process robustness. Let's start with this video. It will be a short video to let you know regarding the generic product development key points. Generic formulation development or generic product development, it is a complex process to make or to develop a product, pharmaceutical product, which is bioequivalent to the innovator product, which is providing the cost effective alternative to the reference formulation or innovator product. And these generic formulations meet the stringent regulatory requirement. So whenever you are developing the generic formulation, some key points are required to be considered. First of all is API selection. So depending on to the generic product market, the quality of the API is decided. Pharmacopoeial monographs are required to be studied and evaluated to choose the right vendor. So choose high quality API from the trusted vendor or source and get the DMF information so that there will not be any problem during filing. Select proper API polymorphic form or salt form which is stable and which is similar to the API form in the reference formulation, and this is because we need to have the bioequivalency with the reference formulation. Then based on to the formulation design and requirement, select the proper API particle size and other API properties like impurity content, LOD, water content, and all those CMAs. Then formulation design. Once you characterize the RLD or reference formulation, then you can start working onto the prototype experimentation. Select excipients considering the functionality requirement, compatibility of the API with the excipient, and the regulatory acceptability. Then understand the critical material attributes, CMAs, based on to the formulation design. If you are working on to the tablet formulation, consider the compressibility, flowability. Fine tune the critical process parameters for optimal product performance. Once you decide to go ahead with some process, understand the critical process parameters. For example, if you are working on to roller compaction process, you need to optimize the process parameters like roller force, roller speed, granule fraction, like this. Then reference product analysis. So reference formulation is required to be studied for qualitative and quantitative composition. Q1, Q2 analysis to be done. Then evaluate the critical properties like pH, solubility, viscosity, ensure the dissolution at various pH conditions, perform dissolution, multimedia dissolution, and also understand the patent claims if any. Regulatory compliance is the another key consideration. So as a generic product manufacturer or applicant, it is required to meet the specific guidelines. Guidelines provided by ICH, USFDA, EMA, MHRA. All these guidelines are required to be considered, and these specific regulatory guidelines are required to meet so that the product can be registered. Then demonstrate the bioequivalence based on to the requirement for for pharmacokinetics parameters like Cmax, Tmax, AUC. For your regulated market, mainly the bio study is required. Sometimes for the ROW countries and other countries, based on to the dissolution profiling, the bio waiver can be taken. Utilize in vitro in vivo correlation IVIVC to predict the in vivo performance. Then bioavailability and bioequivalence. So if required, you can go for the solubility enhancement, bioavailability enhancement for some molecules belonging to BCS class 2 and 4. Different techniques can be used like solid dispersion, surfactant, solubilizers, micronization. Then optimize the dissolution medium to ensure consistent dissolution across various pH ranges. That is called as meet the multimedia dissolution. Perform stability studies. Stability is very important parameter for generic formulations. The formulation is manufactured in the GMP facility, and it is loaded on stability at different conditions to meet the stability requirement. The stability to be done in the final marketing pack. Also, stress studies are required to be performed like force degradation studies to identify and control the drug degradation pathways under different stress conditions like acid, base, heat, light, and humidity. Manufacturing process. Always understand that the manufacturing process should be robust, and it should be scalable, and it should be transferable. Develop a scalable manufacturing process, develop a robust process with critical understanding so that it can be transferred smoothly from the lab to commercial production. Validate and optimize process parameters to minimize batch to batch variations to ensure consistent product quality. So robustness is very important for manufacturing process. Validate all the manufacturing parameters which are necessary in the validation activities. Then coming to the packaging. Packaging system should be designed so that the product meet the desired shelf life and also comply with the regulatory requirements for labeling, ensuring accuracy and clarity to the end users. Multiple packs can be done and stability data can be generated on multiple packs. Consider the SUPAC changes or post-approval changes or variations. So monitor the changes in API sources, excipients or processes post-approval to maintain the product consistency and compliance of the developed and validated process. Establish phase 4 activities like robust pharmacovigilance system to track the adverse event and leverage feedback for the continuous improvement. That is the life cycle approach. So generally, the way of formulation design or development is do the RLD characterization and get the understanding about QTPP. Then understand the patents and regulatory requirements. Perform the study for RLD, that is chemical analysis including dissolution studies, and start with the formulation development. Prototype trials are to be required to finalize the composition, finalize the process, then do the scale up activity to understand the effect of scale on the product, do the pilot bioequivalence studies if required, or go with the waiver approach like BCS waiver or waiver related to specific formulation like solution. Perform the manufacturing of exhibit batches, load the exhibit batches on stability, perform pivotal bioequivalence studies and file the product. Then post-approval changes if required. So this is the generalized way of generic product development. Key considerations are selection of API, selection of raw materials, selection of manufacturing process, R&D characterization, bioequivalence studies, and making the robust manufacturing process. These are the key considerations for generic pharmaceutical product development. Thank you for watching the video and let's meet soon with such kind of informative video. You can mail me for any queries. I have given my mail ID in the description of this channel. Thank you.